is a ransomware educational webinar. We're gonna go through the agenda quickly. Okay, so the agenda for today is what is ransomware, the ways your computer can get infected, what to do if your computer gets infected, and then how to prevent infections, and we'll explain to you how to recognize dangerous behavior on your computer. It's a big topic right now. We got a lot of tractions on it. A lot of customers were asking about it. All the media are speaking about it. You can, even find it on Wall Street Journal, CNN. It's the new type of threat for the last few years. The first one is what is ransomware. Everybody got an idea about it, but we're gonna go with some statistics to start with. It's a new type of threat that comes and encrypts the files on your computer and then ask you to pay to decrypt it. Between 2015 and 2016, there were 60 times as much email sent with ransomware attacks compared to the year before, and in 2017 it's even increased. The lost revenue for companies in 2017 is estimated at $5 billion. It became an industry by itself. 70% of businesses that get infected are paying for the ransomware, which means even people with backup end up paying the ransomware. And then most of the victims are SMB, and the number one targeted country is the US right now. So we are really in the red. The process of the ransomware. The first step is the ransomware gets downloaded on your computer. The second step is you're gonna have a user interaction that is gonna launch it, or sometimes it even happens without user intervention. It's gonna go around first on your computer, look for all the files with different file types, so documents from Word documents, PowerPoint, Excel files, text files. It goes on depending on the file type. It's gonna start encrypting the files. When it's done doing it on your computer, it's gonna start looking on network and encrypt the shared folder. So if you got map drives for your business, if you've got files sitting on the network, it's gonna go and encrypt everything. When everything is encrypted, you end up with a message asking you to pay to be able to access your files. Okay, so what files get encrypted? Do you want to go over it?
When you have the ransomware on your computer, the first thing that is going to be encrypted is the local disk and all the other devices connected to your computer. So, for example, any USB that was connected to your computer when you have the attack. Also, as Olivier told you, the mapped network drive, if you are connected to a server, it can spread the attack on all the network and impact the folders that are on the server. So any other accessible folders from your computer can be encrypted by the ransomware attack. Also, you have to know the Dropbox and the OneDrive and the Google Drive, if they are synchronized with your computer, they can also be encrypted by the attack. So any files that your computer can reach can be encrypted by this ransomware attack. And so the question is, how many days were the infected employees logged out of their files? So I will let Olivier present this. Right?
Yeah. So most companies, if you look, stay 3 days without accessing their files. 61% takes 3 days or more to recover. You got 1/5 of the company that still don't have access after 10 days. So if you think about lost revenue, it's a big chunk of money for the company. The cost of the ransomware is more on the files not being able to be accessed, on the business not being able to work, than on the cost of recovering the files. It may seem like a chunk of money when you have to recover your files, but the loss for the company comes from the not having access to the file, not being able to work. Okay. Now we're going to go over the different ways your computer can get infected. Can you do it?
Yes, of course. The main way to be infected is by emails. It's the most common infection method that is used by cybercriminals, and they use spam email campaigns that contain some malicious links or attachment. So you just have to click on, for example, attachment file on an email, and it's going to launch the ransomware attack on your computer. The second very common way to attack is the website. Sometimes the ransomware are buried in the code of malvertising, and there's some they can inject some ransomware in some codes of the websites that make them access to your computer and spread the ransomware in your network. And the second way to be infected is so simple, is to be infected by another device that is on the network, because we always think that it has to be the attack has to start from the computer itself, but it can also start from another computer that will infect all the devices on your network and encrypt the data on the other servers and the workstations that are on the network. Olivier will explain more the best way to get infected to date.
Yeah, so the new ways in 2017, what makes it even more difficult to prevent today, and the reason why we see such a spread in the attack, with the WannaCry, with the latest one that came a few days ago. The social engineering is the first one. The attackers are getting smarter, and they end up targeting their victims. So they do very targeted emails that look to come from people you know. They even do phone calls, or they change the content in order to make it relevant to what you do in your work day normally. A good example is the company is going to send an email, and then a few days later it's going to say, behave like it's your IT department, and make it look like the email you received was a ransomware. It's going to ask you to click on a link to clean your computer, which is at that time that you're going to infect yourself. So, they are getting smarter, and the users are not being trained well enough in order to answer this threat. The second one, which is the biggest issue right now, is there are vulnerabilities in your operating system, or on the computers, on the phones. You end up not even doing anything, and your computer gets infected. You may be missing Windows patches. You end up without user interaction. They're able to come on the computer, and this one is new for this year.
What I can add also for the emails is there are the example that is very common with the email that you receive, like it was FedEx or UPS. They're saying that if you need to track your postage, just click on the link, and it's just a ransomware. So it seems like it's really...
Yeah, it seems to be something you have to do for your work day, and you end up getting infected from it. Okay, what to do if your computer gets infected? So first, what to look for, how to know you've been infected. So this kind of screen is what you're going to see when you get infected. You see a window with a timer usually. It says you're going to have to pay a ransom. When you see this window, it means you are late in the process already. This one means your files have been encrypted. The hacker is telling you, hey, I've encrypted your files, and it's time to pay. That's, if you are at that time, it's really bad. Before that, you can start going in your documents. So you can see, depending on the way you put your settings in Windows, on the left, you're going to start seeing your files with weird extensions, like, Roku on this one on the left. On the right, it's your documents, but the name has been changed. There is an email address in there, which is the email address monitored by the hacker. If you start seeing it and you didn't see the window before, it means your computer is being encrypted at the time you see it. That's the big first warning. Be careful when you see your files being changed like this. It could be in the process of encrypting everything. Now, if you go in your folders, also you're going to see a README, like the one on the left. README, how to unlock that text. That's a big red flag. If you open it, it's a text file. If you open it, it's going to say your files have been encrypted. This file is put in the folder at the time it's encrypted. If you are seeing it, it means you are. It's not a possibility. It's like your computer is being encrypted. Sometimes it didn't have time to go over the network yet. So that's a red flag. Also, be careful. What do you need to do? As soon as you realize there is an issue, you need to unplug your computer, unplug your network storage, unplug from the network, pull the plug from the wall. It's not a joke. It's like when you see this type of stuff, I'm not going to say when you see a pop-up, pull the power plug every time. There are pop-ups sometimes, but you need to stop the infection at the time it's happening, and it starts with your computer. When you realize you've been encrypted, and there are stories about people who realize they've been encrypted, they leave work, go back home, and they come back in the morning. Everybody is infected in the office. You need to take it for yourself to, protect the other ones and pull the plug and realize you did a mistake. And then call NetDr for help. If you don't know, if you are wondering what's happening, on the computers we manage, the call center doesn't care about getting a call about a pop-up or, we remote on the machine, we can say, hey, this is a valid pop-up, it happens, pop-ups happen, but, it's better to ask
that we check.
Yeah, and we check than not being sure. Now, the big piece of this one is, what can you do to prevent it? What are the steps? What do you need to look for in order to prevent the infection? There are two different levels in order to prevent the infection. It can be done at the network administrator level, or it can be done at the user level. We're going to start quickly with the administrator level. What needs to be in place? Backups need to be in place. The best way to prevent infection is really, nothing is 100% bulletproof. If you've got a backup, you can recover. You've got your files. It needs to be in the cloud. If you've got a backup that is plugged in your computer, the files are going to get encrypted too. Like you can't rely on a backup that's attached to your computer or on the network. The files are going to get encrypted also. I'm going to repeat it. It needs to be in the cloud. If it's not in the cloud, you don't have a backup that is going to protect you against the ransomware. Patches. The Windows patches need to be applied. It's not something done by the user, it's something done by the administrator of the IT company of the business. It's very important. It needs to be monitored. We get alerts every day if the machine didn't get patched. You just need one machine on the network to, put your network down. So it's not a joke anymore. And then block unwanted emails is a big step. A lot of these threats arrive by email. The administrator needs to make sure nothing goes through. That's the main three. The other ones, I'm going to go quickly over it. The network needs to be monitored. The antivirus is not bulletproof. And these attacks have proved it. You can't rely on your antivirus because they can't adapt fast enough. Some adapt faster than other ones, but they can't adapt fast enough with the changing threats. The viruses keep transforming, and the antivirus are losing the battle right now.
Yeah, the antivirus provider will always need sometimes to know to adjust and know the threat and to find a solution to it. So
yeah.
There are always sometimes where there are no protection with the antivirus.
And there are a lot of different antivirus. The one we recommend and the one we use on all our customers today is Webboot, which is a cloud-based virus, and is gonna antivirus. And as soon as it sees one threat on one of the customers, it can bring the information to everybody else, which is the new way of working with antivirus. They were the first one doing it. They are great at it. I would say the best antivirus against ransomware.
Yeah. All the workstations are linked to the dashboard where we can see all the threads and check the source, and we are sure to find solution quickly before it's cause any issue on the other device.
But it's not bulletproof.
Yeah, for sure.
But we didn't get an infection. Everybody's getting infected, not our customers. Firewall filtering. There are ways to filter double authentication. I'm going to come back on it at the user level. It's one of the important things that can be done today. And then close the open port. That's something for network administrator. Today you can scan the internet with some tools in the Kali distribution. You can scan for a port the entire internet, all the computers on the internet. You can scan it in 6 minutes. Okay, so if a hacker can find every single open port on a computer in 6 minutes, and it's any kid can do it. There's a Kali distribution available to anybody. So the main ports are 445. It's SMB that created the Wi-Fi. There's no reason to have it open on the internet. It's for sharing files. No reason. And the second one, which is the big one today, 3389 is the port for RDP. If you are accessing your business network through RDP, you need to tell your administrator to close the port. It's open to brute force. It's open to vulnerabilities. You need to have a VPN to access your network. You can't do it with RDP straight to the server. It's not, we are not in 2015 anymore. 2017, RDP needs to be closed. And I remember in 2015, we tried to close the port, and everybody was saying we're crazy, but it was coming. Okay, at the user level.
At the user level, you always have to be a bit suspicious about the mail and the website that you visit. You have always to check if it's a trustful website. And
I can show the next slide with this one, just to. Yes. Okay, so this is the meat of what we are doing.
Yes.
Explaining what to look for.
Yeah, this is the kind of the website that it's obviously suspicious because it's asking you for your credential, for your email and password, but as you can see in the link, it's something that it's not google.com, it's not your email box, so it's obviously going to be something that is just going to take your information and choose them for something else, or to access your computer. And it's better to use Chrome as a browser as a browser. keep training. It's always good to keep updated about all the new attacks to be prepared to prevent them to be attacked. And the double authentication. Do you want to speak about the double authentication?
Yeah. The double authentication is a way that can be configured for most of everything you do. Where you got a password, there is the possibility to install it. Even if a hacker would know your password, and even if the hacker would know your login and where to log in, they will not be able to come in. To make it clear, if you go on a website like this and you made the mistake of putting your login and your password, sending it to a hacker, if you don't have the double authentication, they're gonna come in your email, they're gonna delete your contacts, but just before that, they're gonna send an email to all your contacts with the same exact hack, and start spreading like this. With double authentication,
what are like the second authentication methods that you need to configure from the email, for example?
So let's say you're on Google Suite. When you configure it, every single time you log on a new device, it's going to pop a message on your phone. It's going to say, are you logging on a new device? If you are logging on a new device, you just have to press yes on the phone. And it's not even, you don't have to go in an app anymore, for example, on Google, the Google platform. It's just going to put on your phone a pop-up message outside even the login screen. It's like, are you logging? Yes, no. It's very simple. It doesn't get in the way of working, but it's very, very secure.
So no one can access your email if they don't have access.
No one can access.
Even if they have the password.
Exactly. Even if they have the password, even if you give a hacker your password, if they don't have your cell phone, they cannot log in your system, which is, everybody should do it there. We have done it on all the tools we use.
Yes.
Nobody can come in if they don't have the double authentication.
There are more and more tools that provide the service of double authentication as more secure than having a very strong password because it's very safe.
Yes, it's the best way to keep yourself safe. Okay, another example of what to look for in your email. I would say mostly for Outlook users. Okay. Outlook users end up with a lot of attachments that look like normal emails, and we get them forwarded from the customers on the one using Outlook. They end up with stuff that shows you need to open an attachment for tracking. You've got tax information. You've got like this one, photos, photos.zip. You're gonna click on the attachment. Inside there will be like a macro, Visual Basic, whatever it could be. It's gonna be something you click, and it's gonna start the encryption. So be very careful of the attachment. The normal email with no attachment, you can, you could have a link trying to get you on the website, but then when you go on the website, you're gonna check the website address. You should be okay. If you see an email, and it could come from somebody you know, that's even the worst part. If somebody else got infected, you can see an email with an attachment asking you to click on it. You need to be careful, especially if the text has got grammatical errors. If the text is poorly written, you need to be very careful.
And what we advise our clients, for example, is like if they are suspicious about an email, first thing to do is to be careful to not click in any attachment and to send, for example, forward the email to us so we can like check the sender, check if it's something that seems suspicious or no to confirm, and then we come back for them and we say like, is it safe or no?
Yeah.
So it's always good if you are not able to know if it's really suspicious, just ask for the help.
And we've got tools, that users don't have. So if you forward an email, you can send it to support@netdr.net.
Yes.
We get the email, we can see inside behind what you see, there are a lot of information, bunch of information that looks like a bunch of garbage, but it's where the email started, which server it went through. We can trace it back to the internet connection that sent it, and from that you can really know if it's a valid email or not. It's very, very easy for us, but you can't see it just like that on your email. Okay. That's it for today. Wow. We got 1 minute for questions. So if you have questions,
feel free to write them.
Go. Yeah. You see on the bottom left in the chat. I'm gonna write a message in there. Go in there, look at the box, put your question in there, and we'll answer to it.
We have some questions that we can read. Question is how we can get the site documents that we use today for our presentation.
You can go on the website. We're gonna post the slide deck, and we're gonna post a recording of this session.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is the first webinar we do.
NetDr.
Yeah, it's a small step for the humanity, but big step for NetDr.
So the website is NetDr.net.
NetDr.net. If you send an email to support@NetDr.net also, or sales@NetDr.net, we can forward it to you. Feel free to contact us. We're always open to it.
We have also another couple of questions. How long it takes to get encrypted if we get infected? Are we talking about days, hours, minutes?
It depends on the number of files.
Okay.
And it also depends how fast is your computer. Encryption is a process that requires a good processor. So if your computer is old, you've got a better chance to detect it quickly. But I would say in few hours, depending on the amount of files. One more time, in few hours your computer is going to get infected. In half a day, your network and all the shares on the network will be infected.
The other question is about emails. Like you said, to block unwanted emails, what is the best way, or is there any special platform that provides security rules that will maybe filter the emails? So how we can unblock the unwanted emails to not just receive them? Okay.
So this one ties between the browser to use and what email platform to use. There are platforms that are more secure than others. Today, we recommend to use the Google platform. NetDr as a company recommends to use the Google platform. You have two big platforms on the market today that are competing. You've got Google Sheets and you've got Office 365. Out of the two, the most secure is definitely the one from Google, the Google Stack. If you are on Office 365, you can also, put more filters, but you need to find the right platform. If you are in something different than these two platforms, then you need to switch. Simple answer.
We have another question. It's about backup. You said it's always important to do them on the cloud. Is it something that can be done by the user, or it needs IT support to be configured?
Good question. It's a good question. Everybody can do their own backup in the cloud. I don't have anything against people doing backup in the cloud. There are some very cheap solutions. Mozi is a cheap solution. Carbonite is a cheap solution. If you want to use these solutions, you can, and make sure it's configured properly and working also.
Okay.
what I recommend, if you're a home user, use this kind of solution. It's okay. If you are a business and if you rely on your, accessing your files and you need your business to run, use an IT company. Like, don't try to do it yourself. We install backups, we configure them, we make sure the right files are in there. If you have new software, they're gonna go in the backup because of the way we're gonna put the data at a consistent place, and then it's monitored.
Yes.
So as soon as something you see a warning of some kind of file was open and didn't back up, we're gonna go in there and make sure it works, and we're gonna do recovery test, which if you do it yourself, you're gonna end up trying to do your test at the time when it's the time to recover. So I would recommend to use an IT company, but at least do something. Like, and the big rule for me is, when I ask business owner, I said, "Do you have a backup?" When they answer, "I think I've got a backup," it means my answer is like, you don't have a backup. If you think you've got a backup, you don't have a backup. If you have a backup, you have a backup. If you're sure, yeah, you have a backup.
And something that can be done daily, so they have to be sure that this day has been done.
Daily, and depending on the size of the company, we can bring it down to 15 minutes increments. So each 15 minutes, there is a differential. And so if something happens during the day, you don't lose the day, production of the day. We are 5 minutes over. I would say I think we're gonna stop the webinar right now. If you've got questions, you can keep asking. We'll stay in there and answer. But we want to keep it. Try to keep it in the time we had planned for it. So
thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll be back next month. We will announce the next webinar soon. We'll post it on the blog. We'll put it on LinkedIn. Most probably the French American Chamber of Commerce are going to advertise it too. And that's it for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.